Everyone take a deep breath in, hold it for a second, and let it out. Think about that oxygen that you just absorbed. That oxygen has come from billions of years of evolution of photosystems. And it's the only way we can be here as humans today, because it provides us with enough energy to support our large bodies, our brains, all the work that we're doing as a community. That breath, to me, especially connects us to 3.5 or 4 billion years of Earth history. And so what I want to talk about is how understanding community and feminist principles has helped me better understand how Earth and life on it have evolved and how they're interconnected. A lot of science tries to break things down into the smallest part to understand it individually. Whereas on Earth, everything is interconnected. And so this is where taking some of the principles from intersectional feminism has really helped. I think most of you know about the program for free asking different questions. One of my questions to myself was, how can I ask questions differently about this problem? So when I start asking these questions, instead of asking what caused the great oxidation event, how did life and Earth interact to get to the point of having oxygen in the atmosphere? What are those processes? What are those interdependencies? And this is where like the asking different questions really matters, because the perspectives of the question you're asking influences the results that you get. Things can be so intertwined that they can be viewed as dependent on one another in such a way that each brings the other into being. This really challenges this idea of causality. What caused this to grow is not really a meaningful answer, right? Like what the morphology means or how the organisms behave in it are a little bit more useful. But whatever it is, there have to be these interactions, these interdependencies that are resulting in pulling each other into being. The bacteria can't be at the peak without the structure. The structure won't form a peak without the bacteria. It won't stand up without the minerals. The minerals wouldn't form without the composition of the water coming in, but the bacteria change the composition of the water. Veranda Montgomery's work was really important, but this is an essay on mentoring based on unculturable bacteria. So most of those million bacteria that are in that structure, we don't know what they are, can't grow them in the lab because we don't know what they need. Veranda took this to think about what happens when you mentor students or make space for people in your lab that don't conform to what's happened in the past. Someone who maybe can't get through the front door might have the questions that get to a brilliant answer to an unsolved problem. So how do you provide a range of culture conditions to support the diversity that will get you the answer that is important for the health of society? I take this mentoring idea back to the microbes, and here are more examples from different lakes. They're all more or less in the same environment. They're in cold water in Antarctica where it's dark half the year. The main organisms are more or less the same, but they make completely different structures. Trying to understand how these communities are interdependent on all the different parts has helped me interpret what's happened in Earth history. Really thinking about things as dependent on one another in such a way that each brings the other into being is a framing that has significantly helped me solve fundamental science questions in my field.